There is a silence that comes before awakening. It doesn't roar or demand your attention. It hums quietly beneath the chaos, beneath the noise of your mind. It's the kind of silence that feels ancient, like the breath of something that once lived through you and is now trying to return. You see, your soul doesn't forget. It simply waits. It waits for the right lifetime, the right heartbreak, the right stillness to remind you who you've always been. And sometimes remembering hurts, because to remember, you must first feel everything you've buried. Every version of you that tried to survive instead of shine. Every promise you made to yourself before you arrived here. You might think you're breaking down, but really you're breaking open. These moments, the ache that doesn't make sense, the tears that appear without reason, the strange familiarity with things you've never lived, they are not random. They are the echoes of your old light knocking on the door of your current self. And when you start to feel it, when the world begins to look slightly unreal, when time bends, when your heart remembers something your mind cannot explain, you are witnessing your soul remembering who it was before the pain. In this journey, there are signs, gentle, sacred, unmistakable signs, that your soul is not lost, but awakening. Stay with me through the next few breaths. You'll begin to see that what you thought was ending is actually your oldest self returning home. Before we begin, take a slow breath. Feel the weight of this moment, because somewhere in this story, you'll find the reflection of your own. And if you feel something stir, a shiver, a memory, a tear that doesn't belong to now, it's not by accident. It's your soul whispering, I remember. Sometimes you wake with emotions that don't match your day. A sudden grief at sunrise, a strange joy in the middle of silence, or a deep nostalgia for something you've never known. These are not random currents, they're memories, not of events, but of frequencies. Your soul remembers vibrations more than details. The vibration of safety, a betrayal, of reunion, of sacred purpose. When your soul begins to remember, it replays those frequencies through feeling, not to punish you, but to help you recognize yourself again. You might walk through a forest and feel a sense of home so deep it brings you to tears, or hear a piece of music that awakens a knowing you can't describe. It's because something within you has lived before, and that melody, that place, that silence was once the language of your light. You're not imagining it. You're remembering it, reassembling the parts of yourself that were scattered through lifetimes. When the past visits, don't turn away. Feel it, because feeling is how the soul rewrites its memory. And if you're here listening, that means your remembrance has already begun. Pause this moment if you need to. Close your eyes. Whisper quietly to yourself, I am not just this story. I am what remembers it. That's the first sign. The soul awakening through emotion that feels older than the body. One day, you wake up and realize the life you built no longer feels like home. The conversations, the goals, even your reflection, it all feels slightly unfamiliar. This isn't failure. It's evolution. When your soul starts remembering, it begins to shed identities that were born from pain. Masks built from survival. Dreams that were never truly yours. You start losing interest in proving yourself, in being understood, in chasing things that don't carry meaning anymore. You feel called inward, toward quiet, truth, and stillness. This detachment can look like loss to others. They'll ask why you're changing, why you don't fight for the same things, why your silence feels heavier than your words. But what's really happening is that your soul has stopped arguing with life. You've remembered that peace is not found in control, but in surrender. You start moving through the world with softer steps. You no longer need to shout your truth, because truth now speaks through you. This phase can be lonely, but it's a sacred kind of loneliness, the kind that clears space for the divine to enter. And in that space, you'll hear something new, your own essence returning. If this resonates, let yourself breathe deeper. Every exhale is your past releasing you. We often think awakening happens only in the mind, but the body remembers everything the mind forgets. When the soul remembers, the body follows. You may feel unexplained fatigue, waves of heat, pressure around the heart, or sudden bursts of emotion that make no logical sense. Don't fear these sensations. They're not signs of breaking down, but of integration. Your body is a vessel of remembrance. Every cell carries stories. And when your frequency rises, old pain stored in muscle, bone, and breath begins to release. Sometimes it shakes. Sometimes it weeps. Sometimes it simply sighs, as if the universe exhaled through you. This is how the physical becomes sacred again. You are literally re-entering yourself, the soul descending into matter. When this happens, treat your body as holy ground. Feed it slowly. Move with intention. Speak to it as you would to something ancient and wise. Because it is. And when the tremors of remembrance feel overwhelming, place your hand over your chest. Feel your pulse. That rhythm, steady, ancient, persistent, is proof that you have carried the light through centuries and you're still here. So the next time you feel your body trembling for no reason, know this: it's not fear. It's your light expanding into every cell. Your body is no longer resisting your soul. It's remembering it. If you're feeling this, breathe with me. Let the breath become your bridge back to yourself. Pain used to feel like a cycle. Same wounds, different faces. Same lessons disguised as new beginnings. But then something shifts. One day, the pattern doesn't pull you in anymore. The drama loses its flavor. The lesson feels complete. This is a sacred milestone. Your soul remembers now. It no longer needs to reenact the past to understand it. You start noticing how calm feels stronger than chaos. How choosing peace feels more natural than chasing validation. How silence speaks louder than reaction. This doesn't mean you've stopped feeling. It means you've started seeing. You begin to recognize pain not as punishment, but as communication. You understand that life isn't happening to you, but through you. And slowly your energy shifts. Old triggers fade. Old roles dissolve. The karmic stage empties. You finally realize you are not here to repeat what broke you. You're here to remember what healed you. That's when the patterns end. Not with effort, but with awareness. And if you've reached this point, you can feel it, can't you? The stillness underneath the noise. The quiet knowing that says, I no longer need to fight this lesson. I have lived it enough. As your soul remembers, linear time begins to loosen its grip. You may feel days stretching like silk, or moments collapsing into eternity. Déjà vu becomes frequent, not because you've been here before, but because the boundaries between then and now are thinning. This happens when your consciousness starts merging with the timeless part of you. You begin to experience life not as a sequence, but as a spiral. Every event, every face, every silence, a reflection, not a repetition. Sometimes you'll feel like you're walking through old dreams. Other times, like the future is whispering to you. This can feel disorienting. But remember, you're not losing your place in time. You're remembering that you were never trapped in it. The soul doesn't move forward or backward. It expands in all directions at once. That's why your memories are changing. That's why forgiveness suddenly feels possible. That's why certain people drift away as if the script has ended. Because your soul is shifting timelines, moving beyond the vibration of pain and into the frequency of remembrance. You might look at your reflection and see a softer glow, not visible to others, but real to you. That's your light recalibrating. That's the pulse of eternity returning to your eyes. Every soul has a moment of recognition, when remembering stops being mystical and becomes real. It doesn't happen in meditation or ritual. It happens in the small, quiet moment when you stop trying to become something else. You feel a calm unlike any other, a peace that doesn't depend on understanding. You realize that healing was never about fixing. It was about remembering you were whole even when you felt shattered. The pain wasn't punishment, it was a compass. Every heartbreak pointed you back to yourself. And in that awareness, something clicks. A doorway opens inside your chest. You don't step through it, you dissolve into it. You feel yourself expanding beyond names, beyond lifetimes, beyond the story of who you thought you were. And in that expansion, you meet the you that existed before the pain. The one who came here not to escape suffering, but to transform it into light. That's the secret the soul carries. It doesn't fear pain. It uses pain as a mirror to remember its own brilliance. And now, you are remembering too. You were never lost. You were only sleeping inside your own light. Take a breath. Feel it fill every space you've reclaimed. Notice how different this moment feels. You haven't changed, you've remembered. Every part of you that once felt broken is simply awakening from forgetfulness. The light you seek has always been yours. It's ancient, familiar, and waiting patiently behind your ribs. So when you wake tomorrow, and the world feels heavier than your heart, pause. Close your eyes, and whisper to yourself, I remember my light. Because every breath after this one is a homecoming. You are not here to become more, you are here to return. If this message found you, it's because something within you is ready to awaken. Let this be your sign. Let this be your reminder. Subscribe if your soul feels called to keep remembering. Like this video to let the light travel further. And share it with someone who may have forgotten theirs. You are not behind in your journey. You are right on time. Because remembering was always the plan.